Welcome to @Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Let's get a refresh on the top Arizona news of the week.
The Las Vegas shooting is the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history, and 6 of the 10 deadliest incidents happened in the past 10 years. Now, younger generations are sharing why they believe these occurrences have desensitized them. Reporter Alex Valdez joins us now in the broadcast center.
Since the Las Vegas shooting, there have been 4 more mass shooting incidents where 4 or more people are shot. According to the data from Gun Violence Archives, for millennials who grew up in the era of mass shootings, those we talked to say events of violence are just the new normal.
To continually be bombarded with aggressive stories, events, violence, I think it is very easy to not be vigilant with those, not take notice. You become desensitized.
Dr. Jennifer Gatt, a child psychologist, says the desensitization can start during childhood by being exposed to certain events. I talked to several students who say they see those symptoms in themselves.
Have all these things that happen during our lifetime that it's just kind of, that's the world we live in. And, to expect something, is it surprising? No, it's the world we live in.
Millennials say mass shootings like the one that happened in Las Vegas are tragic, but these violent events are expected more now than they ever were. When it comes to mass shootings here in the United States, many millennials here at ASU share today that they see these events as just normal occurrences in their lifetime.
It's sort of become like a regular thing, like we've become used to it. And it's sad to say
how it is normalized to other people, and just like it's a awful thing that happened to everybody, but how it affects different people is sad.
I'm not happy that it's being normalized. I wish we could reverse that trend.
The way to reverse the trend starts early in life.
You have access to violent video games and movies and music and social media. I think the desensitization is, certainly could happen at a younger age.
Dr. Gatt says for anyone struggling emotionally after tragedy, she suggests that people self-monitor why they're feeling a certain way, then take action by seeking help from a doctor. In the broadcast center, Alex Valdez, Cronkite News.
In historic change, the Boy Scouts announced plans today to admit girls into the Cub Scouts starting next year and to establish a new program for older girls using the same curriculum as the Boy Scouts. Reporter Fortessa Latifi is tracking the response here in Arizona.
The CEO of the Grand Canyon chapter told me this afternoon that this decision was not a political one, even though that's been much of the reaction on social media since this morning's announcement. The Boy Scouts of America outlined a plan in which girls will be allowed to participate in the Boy Scouts, but the dens will be separated by gender until the age of 14. Cub Scout packs, which are larger than dens, can accept both boy and girl members. And starting in 2019, girls will be able to earn the coveted rank of Eagle Scout. The Grand Canyon Council is the 5th largest Boy Scout council in the U.S., and it's headquartered in Phoenix. CEO Larry Abbott told me he didn't know the decision was coming today, but he is prepared and excited about the new options for parents and families.
We had a lot of parents coming to us saying, well, you'll take our boys, but nobody's here to help our girls, so can't you help our girls? And we said, yeah, why can't we help your girls? And so it has nothing to do at all with political correctness. It has to do with helping kids grow up to be good citizens.
But the Girl Scouts organization isn't happy about the move, saying it strains the bond between the two groups. In a letter obtained by BuzzFeed, Girl Scout President Kathy Hapinka Hannon wrote, "It is unsettling that BSA would seek to upend a paradigm that has served both boys and girls so well throughout the years by undercutting Girl Scouts of the USA." The announcement came on International Day of the Girl. In downtown Phoenix, Fortessa Latifi, Cronkite News.
What's in your wallet? It's a familiar slogan for a credit card, but we may soon be asking what's on your phone or your smartwatch. That idea of a cashless society was the focus of a panel in Washington today that featured government officials, business executives, and one lawmaker from Arizona. Cronkite News reporter Bailey Vogt joins us live from our Washington bureau. Bailey?
A world where your credit card can be controlled by the ring on your finger. It may sound far-fetched, but that technology is already here. And Arizona Congresswoman Kyrsten Sinema, for one, says she's ready.
I want that ring. I want the payment ring. I will pay for market value, but I want the payment ring. Like, as soon as I learned about it, I was like, this is amazing. When can I have it? Do you have it in rose gold?
Sinema was part of a panel in Washington today talking about the idea of a cashless society, what a world with only electronic payment might be like, and what needs to be done to get there. The private sector can't get there alone, said panel member Ellen Ritchie, Visa's vice chairman of risk and public policy.
Government has a big role to play in promoting a cashless society and realizing all those benefits, and particularly national governments. And Representative Sinema has been a true leader in the move towards supporting electronic payments in the U.S. Congress.
Ritchie said going fully electronic could have financial benefits for governments, businesses, and consumers, but that people have to be willing to adopt the technology first. Sinema says that while younger generations are already moving towards a cashless life, older Americans' reservations about not using physical currency is slowing the transition.
Gen Xers and younger are really interested and excited about a cashless society, and folks who are, more experienced, perhaps, than Gen X baby boomers and older are wary.
Sinema, who claims to live a cashless life herself, says that the federal government needs to put better security systems into place before a fully electronic system would work.
So we have a lot of work to do to help, one, consumers feel safe and secure about moving to a cashless society, and building in the structures we need to build to provide for that protection of privacy and for the protection of folks' data and resources.
While the notion of a cashless society is attractive to some, the idea also has its critics, including those who say the big winners in such a system would be companies like Visa that are managing the money. Reporting live in Washington, Bailey Vogt, Cronkite News.
A sensory learning technique is leading young people with Down syndrome toward a path of independence. Cronkite News reporter Sierra Delgado went to Gigi's Playhouse in Scottsdale to explore how students are educated using this unique system.
7, 8.
Brett Schatzman counts on learning at Gigi's Playhouse, a center for people of all ages diagnosed with Down syndrome.
Math is fun. I'm very nervous about math.
Touch math is a sensory type of learning that helps students count numbers. They use touch points to help the students know what number is what and how to add them. 4. Enrollment is free, and students are paired with tutors who help them with their homework and study sessions, no matter how they learn.
Some people are more visual learners, and some are more auditory, like hearing. They can hear something and learn it. And some people are very tactile, where it helps to touch and do things in order to learn.
St. John says students of sensory learning can better grasp the abstract concept of numbers. Marlene Schatzman, Brett's mom, says that has opened up avenues of independence for her son, now that he is out of high school.
He had somewhere to be every single day, and when that stops, you're kind of like, what's going to happen? He has a place to be, and his life is fulfilled. That's all we all want, is just to have somewhere to be and to belong.
According to the National Center of Health, Physical Activity, and Disability, a 2015 survey says 57% of adults with Down syndrome were employed. More than 30% of those taking the survey said they were unemployed because of lack of job skill teaching programs and job coaching.
How about cooking next door? Not yet, we'll wait for just got it done.
Schatzman hopes sensory learning will help Brett find a job one day. In Phoenix, Sierra Delgado, Cronkite News.
La Paz County officials hope to turn sunlight into gold, or at least more green for the county and its residents.
Officials believe a proposed solar power project will bring jobs to the county, but they need help from Congress first. Cronkite News reporter Trevor Fay has the story from our Washington bureau.
Less than 20% of land in Arizona is privately held, and in La Paz County, that number falls to just 6%. Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar says that's not enough private land to spur economic development.
Because of the immense federal footprint in the county, a land transfer is necessary to secure enough space for meaningful renewable energy development.
So Gosar is pushing a bill to transfer 8,000 acres from federal to county hands. The land could be used to develop a massive solar power project. The privately funded project would be off Interstate 10 near the Maricopa County border. D.L. Wilson of the La Paz County Board of Supervisors says a solar plant could provide jobs for his county.
Our vision is to attract new industry, especially photovoltaic solar development, to this strategic location to diversify our local economy, create quality jobs, and increase the tax base so our rural county can adequately meet the growing needs of our citizens.
But the Center for Biological Diversity says the government should not be in such a rush to give away public lands. Brett Hartle, Government Affairs Director for the center, says he supports renewable solar energy, but calls Gosar's bill shady. Hartle claims a private power project could end up benefiting private companies more than citizens, and he called for more public input on an economic project of this size. In Washington, Trevor Fay, Cronkite News.
Social Security numbers, credit card numbers, personal phone numbers, and more, all in the hands of hackers. That's the reality for an estimated 3 million Arizonans in the wake of the Equifax data breach. Lawmakers want to know how the data breach was allowed to happen earlier this year, leaving the personal information of nearly half of all Americans in criminal hands. Arizona Senator Jeff Flake grilled former Equifax CEO Richard Smith today at a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing. Also testifying was Jamie Winterton, Director of Strategy at Arizona State University's Global Security Initiative. She said the problem is larger than just Equifax.
Right now, we're not managing the basics very well. So we're not doing things like patching. We're not doing things like encrypting. There are some known solutions that just aren't being applied as broadly as they should be.
Senators warned consumers not to let their guard down because it could be months or years before hackers choose to take advantage of the stolen data.
Protesters filled the city council chambers Wednesday to tell the city that they broke a promise that was made 20 years ago regarding the Chinese Culture Center. Outside, they marched around the chambers shouting no permit for True North. The protesters believe that the Cultural Center is a historic landmark and should be preserved. The city of Phoenix sold the property to True North companies for $10.5 million last June. They feel that the city is giving the property to a group who wants to destroy culture.
Monument, basically. It's a symbol of cultural tolerance, and it's a symbol of just accepting the people around you, basically. So I feel like that if the Culture Center were to go down, it would show a lot of bad things.
The Cultural Center was not on the agenda, so the council couldn't comment. Mayor Greg Stanton did say that he had only met the owner of True North once, and that was to try to negotiate a settlement between the community and the company.
Arizona Congressman Trent Franks enjoyed a victory this week when the House passed his bill. The pain-capable Unborn Child Protection Act that bans abortions after 20 weeks of pregnancy. Passage in the Senate has been a hurdle in the past, but supporters are more optimistic this year, as Cronkite News reporter Trevor Fay tells us from our Washington bureau.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham hopes to do something that hasn't happened for several years, get a Senate vote on Arizona Congressman Trent Franks' pain-capable Unborn Child Protection Act.
We're going to take it up in the Senate. I can assure every pro-life group out there, this will be on the floor of the Senate sooner rather than later.
Previous attempts have failed because supporters could not get 60 votes needed to stop a filibuster on the bill. But Graham and representatives of pro-life groups said today that times have changed.
A majority of Americans, including women, young people, Hispanics, even a third of all Democrats, support this legislation.
Opponents argued that the bill denies women the right to choose, which can be especially important if birth defects are detected after the 20-week mark. But pro-lifers say 20 weeks is the critical point at which a fetus can feel pain, and they say the bill allows exceptions for rape, incest, and to save the mother's life.
Not only does this legislation provide legal protections for the unborn child who can feel pain, but it also protects mothers.
Supporters note that President Donald Trump has promised to sign the bill if it reaches his desk, and Graham said he is optimistic that he can find enough Democratic votes to get the bill to the president.
We got 3 votes from our Democratic friends last time. The more you educate, the more you vote, the larger the number gets.
But Graham would need 8 Democrats to come on board. Graham said he expects Senate leadership to bring it to a vote soon. In Washington, Trevor Fay, Cronkite News.
Officials with Planned Parenthood of Arizona told us that they don't think Graham can get the votes to get the bill out of the Senate. And if it does, they're ready to go to the courts, which have overturned similar measures. Arizona Senator Jeff Flake delivered a strong message on the need for cooperation in tackling important issues like immigration. The senator sat down for an interview at the Washington Ideas Conference. Reporter Fraser Allen Best takes us there.
It was more than 5 years ago when Arizona Senator Jeff Flake helped former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords in a halting return to Congress after she survived a near-fatal shooting. For Flake, the story is still relevant today.
She was a Democrat, and I'm a Republican. She wanted to stand up when President Obama would have the applause lines, but she couldn't stand up on her own very well, so I helped her up, which left me a lone Republican standing.
Lone Republican standing is not an uncommon position for Flake, who has found himself sometimes at odds with his party in the past year. He didn't back down today at the Washington Idea Forum.
Today, I think the party's been compromised by populism, isolationism, by anti-immigration fervor, nativism, and I don't think that it may excite, certain people, and you might be able to win an election. It's called populism for a reason. It's popular sometimes, but it's not a governing philosophy.
Flake, who made the call for civility central to his recent book, Conscience of a Conservative, spoke right after Nancy Pelosi, a fierce partisan, but one who was able to negotiate recently with President Donald Trump.
He's the president of the United States, and if we can find our common ground, now we want to. And the Dreamers have so much support in the country.
As he took the stage after Pelosi, Flake cited immigration as one of the many issues where Democrats and Republicans can't start a healthy discussion by viewing each other as opponents. Stressing the theme of his book, Flake says incivility makes for bad politics.
And my big concern is that if we continue to vilify and assign bad motives to the other side, then we'll never solve the big issues that we need to solve.
In Washington, Fraser Allen Best, Cronkite News.
Dinosaurs might be a thing of the past, but you can get up close to the creatures starting this week. Cronkite News reporter Holly Bernstein went to the Phoenix Zoo to find out how they are bringing the reptiles to the 21st century.
3-year-old Anthony Contradas is like a kid in a candy store.
Bone! The bone from his mouth!
Except instead of a candy store, Anthony, along with other kids and families, is here traveling back in time to see the Dinosaurs in the Desert exhibit at the Phoenix Zoo, which officially opens to the public Friday. Anthony knows 3 kinds of dinosaurs:
T-Rex, Brontosaurus, and Triceratops.
But there are many more here at the zoo. Kids and adults can come to the Phoenix Zoo to see 23 of these dinosaurs, 17 of which are animatronics. The exhibit is open until the end of April. According to Phoenix Zoo PR strategist Carrie Bauman, these lifelike ferocious beasts are made by a company called the Dinosaur Company out of Texas.
I know there's steel and foam, a little bit of magic.
As the visitors interact with the exhibit, they'll also learn.
You'll get a field guide that'll talk about the different animals, why it is we painted them the way they are. Some of them are painted like animals, such as the Chiricahua leopard frog, which is a species that we're helping to conserve here at the zoo.
Bauman says there is a special story for each dinosaur.
Kept it upright when they walked.
Out of the dinosaurs here, Anthony has one favorite.
T-Rex.
And he doesn't mind the noise. In Phoenix, Holly Bernstein, Cronkite News.
The exhibit runs through April 30th, and tickets cost $4 for members and $5 for non-members.
Another hope for DACA recipients is the bipartisan DREAM Act. It's been around for years, but supporters say this year it might pass. Cronkite News reporter Adrienne St. Clair explains.
Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican from South Carolina, stood with his lead co-sponsor, Senator Dick Durbin, a Democrat from Illinois, and said he's never felt better about the chances of passing the DREAM Act, a bill that will make elements of the now temporary DACA program permanent.
I've never seen the stars align like they are today.
Those aligning stars include a productive hearing with the Senate Judiciary Committee, growing public support, and recent positive statements by President Donald Trump.
Let me tell you why I feel most hopeful this time. The president I think, has the right attitude about solving this problem. He ran a very difficult and tough campaign on immigration. When he speaks, I think people in the House on my side of the aisle are going to listen.
The Trump administration announced in early September the wind down of the DACA program over the next 6 months, giving Congress the responsibility to come up with a solution for the nearly 800,000 DACA recipients across the country. But in spite of the optimism from Graham and Durbin, Arizona dreamers like Maxima Guerrero from Mesa said she's worried about the details of the deal.
What will come at the expense of my pathway to legalization.
And Gilbert resident Jose Patino is concerned about a gridlock with a lot of talk and no action.
My concern is the legislators are not moving at all.
But legislators are aware of the deadline they face.
The March 5th deadline is going to make us act. Failure is not an option.
In Washington, Adrienne St. Clair, Cronkite News.
Could you imagine taking all of your belongings and moving into a space with less than 350 square feet? Microhousing is an emerging trend that began in dense places like New York and San Francisco. But as reporter Tim Johns recently discovered, it's starting to make its way here to the Valley.
James Smith may be taller than most people at 6'6", but there's nothing particularly big about his apartment. Smith lives in a micro apartment complex called Whitestone Studios in downtown Phoenix, and for him, it's the perfect size.
It can be quite limiting in what you fill your space with, but I think that's a wonderful challenge that people need to be faced with.
And Smith is not alone. Microhousing is becoming a bigger trend for house hunters nationwide for a variety of reasons.
Residents cite things such as lower rent and utility bills, less maintenance, and simpler living as some of the perks of living in a micro unit.
Christoph Kaiser is an architect and developer who has been following the trend of microhomes for several years. Kaiser believes that the trend is starting to make its way into the Valley too, with a handful of projects being built or proposed in recent years. He says it's being driven by a resurgence of people looking to live in an increasingly vibrant downtown Phoenix.
Similar to what's happening globally in other international cities is happening in Phoenix, where people want to be downtown to be downtown.
And for Smith, he welcomes this trend to his native city and hopes it's something that continues to grow.
I think it will, definitely, as more and more people sort of introduce themselves to the idea and become more familiar with it and comfortable with it. I think it's something that could be quite successful.
In Phoenix, Tim Johns, Cronkite News.
The apartments at Whitestone Studios comes fully furnished and rent starts at about $1,300 per month.
A local yoga teacher is expanding her practice to athletic programs in her area. Cronkite News reporter Devin Gooden went to Castile High School to see how this addition to their football training benefits the team.
Every Tuesday morning, Castile High School's football team begins their day with yoga. However, this morning workout isn't just focused on getting stronger, but on centering their minds.
I'm teaching them that mental component, how to calm themselves down, how to stay present, so you can just focus on right now, because that's really all that matters.
She always tells us to have our mind and our body on the field with us at the same time.
The class focuses on what instructor Donna Chasen believes are the most important muscles, hips and hamstrings. Chasen draws on her own experience as a college athlete and a sports injury that tore both her ACL and meniscus.
We work on mobility and flexibility. So as an athlete, physically, that's going to give you a better range of motion. So physically, they're going to perform better.
We haven't had any severe or major injuries this year, really ever since we've worked with Donna, even for the last 2 years.
Yoga is an essential part of the Castile football program. Head coach Spencer Stowers wants to develop what he calls a fully equipped athlete.
The biggest part that Donna brings outside of the flexibility is the mental aspect, and psychologically what she talks about with our kids on a weekly basis is something that they look forward to, and it really transcends to the field as well.
Jason began working with Castile football about 1.5 years ago, and since then expanded into 4 different divisions and 5 different schools. She hopes more will follow suit and adopt her program. In Gilbert, Devin Gooden, Cronkite News.
Now, here's an @Cronkite News pick of the week, a favorite from the Cronkite News staff.
What's the issue with this video? Let me show you. As you can see, the school bus is stopped with the stop arm out. Now the car behind him is following the law. He's stopped, but the cars passing by are not. Tolleson Union High School District wants to stop that behavior by installing video cameras on its buses. When the flashing red stop sign comes out, that means stop, but a lot of drivers don't see it that way.
What we're finding is more and more people are running through and not observing our stop arm camera, the stop arms when they actually deploy. We've got just an incredible amount of safety factors and issues that happen through that.
More school districts across the country are turning to this technology to monitor how many vehicles actually follow the stop arm laws.
And once the stop arm is activated and comes out, the stop arm cameras detect any motion that happens between the front of the bus at this area and the back of the bus. They take still shots of the oncoming vehicle's driver's license plate, and then they take a shot of the vehicle, and then they also take rolling video feed.
Authorities can't use the footage to prosecute violators here in Arizona. However, the district uses the data to track hotspots and potentially reroute a bus. They can also use this information to request law enforcement patrol the area during pickup and drop-off times.
I think it's good to have cameras on there also because like sometimes there's cars that don't pay attention, so that's going to help them see better that there's cars that are not following the rules. So it's safety for our children when they get off the bus.
The district has 20 school buses with the cameras installed. They're planning on installing this technology in 18 more buses by the end of November.
You just can't put a price tag on the value and the cost of a life.
There are currently 15 states that have stop arm camera laws. However, Arizona isn't one of them. West hopes that the data from the stop arm cameras will raise awareness and push the state to look into this issue.
Cronkite News tracks your likes, tweets, and shares from all our social sites to bring you this special at Cronkite News, our weekly refresh. Join the conversation so you choose the news. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org for top Arizona stories anytime.